Okay, welcome to the debrief. Just going to enjoy a cigar while talking to you guys. Something I always use for monumental change is a nice celebratory cigar. I wish I did have a nice scotch, but cigar will just have to do. So rather than talking about the entire prep, which is like obviously 18 months of work, just going to talk to debrief you about the two shows, differences between the two, what I learned, the level of suffering that I was willing to go through, and the level of suffering that I crave now, which is kind of sick. So, first show, I was heavily depleted. It was the goal going into the competition to be completely depleted. Now, I was so depleted that I actually had forgotten that I was meant to be feeling this way, and I was actually very concerned about my health. And so was Liana. Towards the at the end of the show, I was very skeptical whether I was actually even going to step out on stage for the last round of the opens, as I was so dehydrated backstage that I couldn't really hold any poses and my legs were all cramping up. Obviously, I was a fucking idiot and chose to walk out on that stage heavily dehydrated. Not a good move. My posing suffered. My mental capacity to take what was going on around me suffered, and I was very lucky to not pass out on the stage. So the first show was a lot of learning on like my limit. I really found my limit there for that time, and that has increased the level of ceiling for how much I can take and how much I can push myself now through business and through training. It has now created a new ceiling to break through to find my limit, because after the show I could still barely walk because I had no fat on my feet. So I slowly gathered myself and walked up the stairs to where I had my little camp set up, and I just emotionally just broke down. I was just in complete out of control of my emotions. I was crying my absolute head off, as I was just completely confused as to what was sort of happening and what was going on around me. I had no ability to control the crying. It was just complete and utter, like, full-on sobbing. It was a realization of that first part of the hardest part of the prep is over. I was crying for that. I was also emotionally unsure about, like, obviously I said to you that I couldn't remember whether I was meant to feel like this or not. And so I was crying over the fact of, there was a few of my friends that were all fussing over me, and I was crying for them because I was like, I felt so vulnerable and felt so horrible to put them in this position where they had to look after me. So we got some fluid into me, got some food into me, and I started to relax. And, lucky for myself and Liana, we had, unfortunately, my coach Jason wasn't able to make the show, which was causing a lot of anxiety for me as well. So that was definitely main part of it. Now, it was just a perfect storm. He had something booked that he could not avoid, come rain, hail or shine, or come bodybuilding show. So he unfortunately couldn't come. Now, he was contactable to a degree, obviously through messages and things like that. But because he was obviously enjoying himself, I didn't feel like I wanted to disturb him as well. So again, it was a perfect storm of miscommunication, due to the fact of like how poorly cognitively I was functioning with low calories and things like that. So it was quite scary. After the show, I went and had a steak and a beautiful night out with some friends, and just did non-bodybuilding things to completely reset and know what I'm sort of doing and things like that. But the lessons I learned for that was just the struggle. It was really funny because into the next show we completely refeeded. So I had over close to 10,000 grams of carbs going into my system from the end of from that Monday to the Saturday of the national show. So it was just polar opposite feelings going into the second show. It was like a completely fresh slate, and it was really interesting because I craved the feeling of the first show. I had hated it at first. I hated that I felt like this, and I was resenting it, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to get rid of this feeling and eat and not be skinny on stage and present something special. But yeah, come that time where I was just loading up on carbs and had a complete inundation of calories to choose from and eat, that it was like an overabundance. I was feeling sick from it. Like I just wanted to feel hungry again and be in the depths of prep and starving and suffering again. Now, if that means that I've finally found something that I truly love, which is bodybuilding, then yeah, so be it, because I can't wait for that feeling again. I obviously want a bit more communication between me and my coach and my friends and my family to know that that's going to happen, because obviously the first time it was, a little bit of in the dark, in the mist, like, is this meant to happen? Am I meant to feel like this? So, having that time to reflect and seeing the changes in my body over that week was insane. So I started the week I think I stepped up on stage at 70, I can't even fucking remember now, 70 something. But 3-4% body fat, like skinny as fuck, like just skin and bone, nothing left. And then I stepped up on stage on the second show at 80 kilos, full as a house. Posing had improved. My posing routine I'm so happy with. I've actually got that professionally filmed, so I'm excited to share that with you guys. And again, just presented a package that I was so much happier with. I started to actually look like a bodybuilder and had the vision of, beating my previous showing 10 years ago, which was, I beat it by 5 kilos. I was 5 kilos heavier, more muscle mass, a better ability of stage presence, the ability to pose better. Had a smile on my face the whole time, was talking to people backstage. So from 10 years ago to now, it was just a completely different experience. And, I can really put that to having great people around me for this whole prep. Fantastic coach with Jason and friend and mentor. My beautiful now soon-to-be wife, Liana. Jackson and Giannis, my two, very, very, very close friends up in Sydney. They were all there. And, I couldn't get the smile off my face, presenting that final package and knowing that, after 18 months, it was just this. It's like fucking 3 seconds of work up there. You pose up there, they move you in and out, and it's done. It's just such a fleeting moment. It's just it's a wave against the shore on the beach, and it gets receded back in, and it's gone. So if you're not present in that moment, if you're not truly embraced and passionate for what you're doing, man, you just gonna forget everything that you did and the struggle, and I can see how bodybuilders do it, and they even never do it again, because they just resent the process. They didn't win, they didn't get a medal, or whatever the fuck they were trying to do it for. Whereas for me, I'm just trying to get better. I could give a fucking zero fuck about where I place. Both of them probably dead last. If there's a position under dead last, that's where I placed. So for anyone who's wondering, got kicked out to the side every single call out. But again, I have that visual representation of seeing change from one week to another week, and seeing the visual change in my body and the physique that I want to design and build in this off season. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to, I've started mass exodus, the lost years. That's what I've named this off season. Day one was today, Monday. And the level of fucking push I had in the gym it's going to build. Like when the body's feeling recovered again from this prep, and, we start sort of implementing again with, more supplementation, and the diet goes up and training intensity goes up. I took it quite personally on one of the rounds I was with this. He was actually quite a lovely guy, but this other bodybuilder, and he wasn't in shape at all. soft everywhere. Didn't present anything mildly competitive in my mind. And the judge moved me on the outside of him. And to quote Michael Jordan, I took that fucking personally. And now that has led to this fuel for this off season, is to just be like, no, fuck that. That is not the behavior that stands by me. I presented something pretty special there, as far as what I presume would be, is, a little bit better than what that guy was presenting, and I got kicked to the curb. So I'm like, right, okay, I'll take it personally. I'll use that. That's going to be part of this off season's energy. So again, I'm not an ultra competitive person, but I'm an ultra competitive person for myself. But yeah, I've decided that that is the drive for this off season, is that little exchange that we had on that stage. But again, not to yabber on, I don't want to sit out here and just enjoy my time, my cigar, is that I learned a lot. The major one is that I want to compete again. I love bodybuilding again. I've been bitten by the bug. Not so much of the competitive bug, but more so to make sure that I am constantly improving. It has given me a purpose. It has given me a visual representation that I am getting better. And has also enabled me to develop a mentality to push myself and the team of Grounded Strength to unknown fucking territory as far as business is concerned. Everything at the moment is easy. That first show and that first sort of preparation of depleting down is a level of fucking struggle that I don't think I can go through again. But I am willing to do it again if it needs to happen. But man, it was interesting. I was doing steps. I had to do 12,000 steps, and Liana had to come with me, and I had to hold on to her because I was going to fall over at any second because I was so depleted. Waking up at 3 a.m, doing fucking cardio, still doing check-ins for the team. My whole body fucking ached. I couldn't walk properly. I was living in Crocs. I was starving. Like, I was having dreams. Like, if you follow me on Instagram, I was having dreams about maxi bonds covered in peanut butter, and I finally hit that craving. That was the only craving I had over the whole time. Obviously, if you follow me on Instagram, I'm straight on, back on plan. I never cheated on my diet. I never fucking didn't do any of my cardio. I did it all, no matter how I was feeling. I did all my training, no matter how I was feeling, even though it was mid as fuck and just like a break between meals. I never skipped anything. Now, in my opinion, this is what it takes. That's what takes you from doing a general sort of weight loss thing to the extreme, is that the extreme, you have to go that extra mile. You have to lock in for a much longer period of time. You have to accept the fact that there's going to be sacrifices to be made. I had to make a very hard sacrifice, which for me, I love so much, which was for the face-to-face PT. I had to sacrifice it because the service I was delivering, I was a fucking zombie. I would not stand to deliver that service to someone. But also at the same time, I had to be a bodybuilder. I had to embrace the fact that there is nothing else at this point that matters. It is singular focus. It is to get this fucking mission done. And I made that sacrifice. I made the monetary sacrifice. I made sure that we were covered. Liana said to me, you just need to focus on being a bodybuilder. And for those last 4 weeks, that's what I did. I focused on being a pure bodybuilder. The purity of the existence of that time in 4 weeks was beautiful. Because it was just a purity of existing for one singular thing. Now, if I can get past something onto you guys, is that, have those times where it's a push and a pull, where it's this push where you're just singularly focused on this one thing, but you've made sure that you've spoken to all your friends and family, you've told them that level of sacrifice that you're willing to do, that you want to do, and then you just fucking send it, and then you pull back. So for me this year, from now until 2026, I'm pulling back. Because you can't just keep fucking throwing shit up against the wall. You know, if I want to get better, I need to take time off. I need to rebuild. Because my weight cap, I'm 20 kilos, 14 kilos light for my weight cap. So I've got plenty of room to grow, plenty of progress to be made. And then in 2026, I'll sign off the video here. I'm going to be doing a full Australian season, probably season A. And then I'm going to be going overseas and I'm going to compete in the Amateur Olympia in Japan. And then I'm going to compete in Korea and I'm going to compete in Malaysia. That is the goal that is happening in 2026. And every single thing that I do every single day now, the intention is set. I write it out every day in my mission log. Every single thing that I've written in my mission log, I have fucking achieved. So if you're going to take anything from this, is you should be journaling and you should be trying to set goals for yourself that scare the fuck out of you and making sure that you're setting intentions to get there. I hope that explains what happens on the show. Of course, if you've got more questions, please leave them down in the comments. And remember to follow myself at Instagram, coach.adrianbrown. Follow my wife, Coach Liana, on Instagram as well. A whole lot of new content coming out for you guys soon. We've got a whole photo shoot series for Liana coming out in the next few weeks. So she's got a huge amount of things. You won't see much of me on YouTube at this stage. So make sure you've liked and subscribed. And of course, if you've got any more questions, leave them down in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. But yeah, thank you for your time. Love to you all. And thank you so much for everyone that supported me through this journey. I can't thank you enough. Fuck, I'm getting emotional. I've got to definitely wrap this up. It was one of the most intense times of my life. And I'm looking forward to the next chapter and, you know, the next time that I can push myself to the absolute fucking limit.